Let's see. Is there a way to get a list of enrolled nonprofits or companies so that we do not go to one that is already dealing with Viridian? That's absolutely an excellent question. We have debated this multiple times. One of the things that we want to do is we want to have like a three-call. We want to create a database in the office because we get calls and emails to Ask V, and we had an example where we actually had a large charitable organization call us and request to not get any more calls because they had received over 500 phone calls in a 2-week period from Viridian Associates. And it just, there's really no way we could control it that we could think of, but now that we've thought this process through, we can't go ahead and just randomly put together a list, because what that does is that puts the list of charitable organizations out there, and people end up calling them to say, hey, where are you in the process? And they end up getting calls that are unsolicited, that they do not want. And so one of the things we thought of is, okay, let's have to clear all nonprofits. So if you want to work with a particular charitable organization, a particular entity, you have to just first register that with, before you approach them, you have to register that entity with corporate. And we just put that in a queue, and we just track everybody that's been registered. And as soon as 3 people have registered with that entity, or as soon as someone has registered and provided us documentation that they're working with the actual decision maker, such as the CEO or the chief operating officer, or someone who actually can make a decision on behalf of the organization, we've debated putting blackouts on those so that when someone calls in and says, okay, I'd like to register for my local school, and we can say, well, we've had 11 requests already, so as a Viridian associate, that one's already in process. We're already working with that particular organization. So we have debated in ways to try to keep this under control, but yet be fair to everyone. So as of right now, we don't have a process in place to eliminate that, but that's certainly something that's top of mind. Next one, when we help an organization with a fundraiser, are we going to solicit their customers to become Viridian associates? I'm not quite sure I understand what the question is. When we work with a charitable organization and customers become a customer of Viridian, the old system used to send out an automatic email. I assume this is what this is referring to. The old system used to send out an automatic email that would request if they knew anyone who was interested in also saving money and being green. And the whole concept was that had nothing to do with that charitable organization. That was just an email that went out to all customers. Anytime a customer became a customer of Viridian, we would simply send out an email that said, hey, congratulations for going green and supporting the environment and saving money. Do you know anybody else that would like to do so as well? And so that was just something we created to ask for referrals. But that's all under process. We certainly don't want to do anything that is inefficient or doesn't work on behalf of the particular organization or the particular associate. So your best route with anything like that, any questions like that, is simply just send that into AskV or to suggestions@Viridian.com. And what we'll do is we queue those up and we talk about those things on a regular basis. And a lot of our program is developed out of things that have come through questions submitted to AskV or at suggestions@Viridian.com. So bear with us. Go ahead and submit that. What are the general guidelines for an organization to qualify for the residual fundraising program? The RFR program, the guidelines are 2 things. Number 1, they don't have to be a legitimate 501c3 or C6 or C7. Any fundraising entity that's a true fundraising entity can benefit and use the fundraising program. The RFR program, in order for them to qualify for it, they have to submit to us a copy of their 501c3. That would be a given, a no-brainer, a laydown. There would be no question if they're a legitimate 501, If they're a legitimate not-for-profit, then they automatically qualify. They just need to give us proof of that along with their associate application, and that's done. The second is if they're not a legitimate 501c3 or a legitimate not-for-profit, then all they have to do is provide to us with their associate application is a letter on their letterhead, just a paragraph, a couple of sentences that says, this is who we are, this is how long we've been in business, this is what we do for the community, and then a copy of their tax ID number, because whatever their number is, even though it's not a not-for-profit number, they'll have to have a tax ID to show legitimacy. So either of those two things would qualify them for the program. And we reserve the right as a company to refuse anyone enrolling in this program, because we've already had an instance where somebody created an LLC. It was something, and I'm using just a random, this is not the name of it, but someone created an LLC that was something along the lines of Helping Hands LLC, and it was just some cat trying to beat the system, and we reserve the right to request additional information or refuse anybody to be part of this if we feel like someone is not being above board with us. The next one, we have about 12 more minutes. Let's see, how do NPOs get their money? Is there the same as the reps via the debit card, or do they have direct deposit? We do have direct deposit. It's now available through, so anybody can use direct deposit. Charitable organizations and larger entities, even for-profit companies, oftentimes don't like to use the debit card. It's great for the standard associate when they go out and use the debit card, because it's a little billboard that they can use to start talking about Viridian or create a conversation piece. But direct deposit is available through Payoneer. So that was a good question. Okay, is the credit card still a necessary piece of the information to include on the application for a nonprofit, since there are no future charges for them to incur? That is a great question. And the answer to that, just off the top of my head, I've never been asked that question, nor have I ever thought about it, but it certainly seems like that is an irrelevant piece of information for a not-for-profit because there are no additional fees, there's no recur fees, and there's no annual fees, so there would be no reason for us to have a credit card on file for a not-for-profit. So that's a great question. Again, that's just my answer off the top of my head. I hadn't thought about it, but that certainly makes sense. Testimonial links found on the fundraiser page. Yes, we are creating testimonials. In fact, we have a video crew coming out. They're flying out. Our brand management company is flying out on the 23rd. If you have a fundraising entity, a charitable organization, a church, a school, anybody that you think would be a good representation of for a testimonial, our video crew our brand management company is flying out on the 23rd of this month. They'll be here for 5 days. We've already set up a couple of appointments for them to interview some of our entities that are using our RFR program, and do some interviews, and we're going to do some video shoots. I think it would be extremely good publicity for your particular fundraising entity to be on those videos. And so if you have a suggestion or you would recommend somebody or a particular organization or individual to be on those videos, we just need to coordinate it. They're coming out. They'll be here for 5 days, and it would be a huge benefit and blessing. I know it's not the most convenient, but if they are willing to travel to us to be on the video, that would certainly